The Office of Police Accountability tells me they have never received so many complaints during such a short window of time. Typically, they get about 14,000 complaints per year. That's what they've gotten over the last few days. Today, they tell me they're focusing on 4 specific cases that have gotten the most complaints. This is the viral video that has outraged so many. A young girl and her dad moments after she was maced by police near Westlake Park Saturday afternoon. Evan Rio was there rolling with his camera at what he described as a peaceful protest.
All I know is there were maybe 50 people in that line facing off against the cops, but I mean, it was during a peaceful prayer, by the Reverend across the street.
The heart-wrenching video of the little girl in agony has sparked 11,000 complaints to Seattle's Office of Police Accountability.
It was just really sad more than anything. It was really horrifying. It was really visceral. Just seeing her pain and seeing her dad just trying to take care of her.
Another 5,000 complaints have come into OPA about police conduct during the last few days of protests. Many of the complaints surrounding 10 different incidents, some of which were captured on video that's circulating on social media, like this little girl.
What can you say to the public to ensure them that this case will be fully investigated?
Yeah, I consider the public that we are, by ordinance, I am a civilian, I am independent, I'm not affected by politics. We are going to do our best to top to bottom look at these cases and to make sure that there's an impartial, objective review of the facts.
OPA says they will complete these investigations quickly due to immense public concern. Evans says he wants justice for this little girl and so many others.
On the ground right now with protesters. Joel, what's the mood like there?
People have been coming up to us throughout the night here on the street to talk to us, ask us what our perspective, share their own. We were just approached by a man who said that he had spent about 4 or 5 hours right up against the railing where the police barricade is at. And he said the big difference for him tonight that he thinks helped to keep the peace was that officers in riot gear actually backed up from that fence line, gave him some space. And so that even if those umbrellas that are up front there, if someone reached over that barrier, the officer still had plenty of buffer there. And so no one reacted very quickly. There was some weird tension, though, and Matt alluded to it, that those skirmishes, we'd be standing here, and all of a sudden, everyone would start running in our direction, and we were kind of like, oh my gosh, it's about to happen, but we wouldn't hear anything. And then people would stop, and yeah, that was really just stuff going on within the protest itself. And then Matt also mentioned about the fireworks, and it really was telling when people, after those fireworks started going off, people started booing the people igniting them, saying that you're trying to provoke something. We don't want that to happen here tonight. So a really big difference. I want to go now to some video that we shot earlier, if we can move to that. It was a much different scene just a few hours ago. There were people who were pressed in by the hundreds, facing off against police outside the East Precinct here on Capitol Hill. Second night in a row, and as you said, marking a 5th straight night of angry demonstrations in Seattle. Plenty of taunts directed at officers, calls that they ditch their riot gear, take a knee with the crowd, walk away from their jobs. Protesters say the police have been the true aggressors in the streets, and the killing of George Floyd, that was the tipping point. But for now, that outrage has remained peaceful.
You can see this is a peaceful demonstration right now. This is a peaceful protest. What happens is people don't understand the difference between a peaceful protest and then we have people that want to cause problems and loot stores and stuff like that, okay? That's the difference right there.
Yeah, well, there are divisions within these protesters that has emerged tonight. Some have no appetite for more violence, which led to the crowd being tear gassed last night. Others, though, they say that the police and the powers that be, they've not been listening, and it takes radical elements and a revolution to get their attention. Now, we did not hear anyone openly advocating physically attacking the police, but they say that negotiating with city leaders, it hasn't netted much, and some doubt anything will change.